This project could only be categorized as extremely challenging in many different ways, technologically and logistically, economically, politically. It spanned a time frame of around 20 years. And through it all, Rktb was the consistent presence through that time. We inherited the project in the mid-1980s and stuck with it through 4 different clients and 4 different programs. And what emerged was the adaptive reuse of this significant structure into residences that has never been seen in New York City before. 455 Central Park West has a rather significant history. It's a New York City landmark, and it was built and paid for by the Astors in the 1880s as the nation's first cancer hospital. It was designed by Charles Coolidge Haight, a prominent 19th century architect. It was patterned after a French castle. It later went on to become the forerunner of Sloan Kettering, and then it was abandoned, left vacant for many decades, until the redevelopment plans began to emerge in the 1980s. The building was in very poor shape when we inherited it, and we realized just how poor it was after clearing out some of the accessory buildings. Only then did we know that the building was in real danger of falling down on its own through neglect. Landmark required us to reproduce this building exactly as it had been designed in the 1880s. And that translated to virtually all the building elements, from all the stonework, all the stone detailing, the windows, the roof structure, which was an incredibly complex task, conical roofs sloping in many directions, as well as the turret details and the chimneys. They all had to come down and be rebuilt. So the cataloging involved with that was quite meticulous. Every piece of slate, every brick had to be marked, taken down, stored off-site or on-site, and retained and cataloged in a way that it could be put back exactly as it was intended. Reusing this building was a difficult proposition. You have to retain the outside of the building as a landmark structure exactly the way it is. You're in a sense creating spaces on the inside that correlate with the outside and work in balance. What was done in this building, for instance, is that the drums and the turrets were used in their entirety as one single room. As a result, it created some very, very generously scaled apartments and very unique apartments. The entryway is a real special feature of this complex. We used the undercroft of what was the chapel space, and we had enough space on the grounds to create an entry trellis and a drive around. The restoration process that took many years to accomplish and finally was completed in 2007 was the first major piece of renovation in the neighborhood, and it was a catalyst for the rejuvenation of this neighborhood. As I said, this project was extremely challenging on many fronts. Rktb's knowledge of the way things work in New York City, I think, really helped us. But also, in terms of the technical expertise that we had to realize a project of this complexity. It's a timeless piece of architecture. It has been designed and restored in a way that will allow it to be here for many years into the future. And it has such an important role in the history of New York that I am just enormously satisfied with the outcome of this building.